Now I'd like to talk a little bit about the appearance panel. So the appearance panel is something you find in your windows. It's a palette. So if I click here, you can see that it's checked. That means it's open, and that's how I always can find what's open and what's closed. Last time we talked about Pathfinder, notice I closed that. So now I have my appearance panel open, and I can make my panels bigger and smaller by dragging them out, right? So what's cool is that if I look over here, I can do some different things. So I'm going to zoom in a little bit. And you'll notice that the one that I have highlighted right now is the one we're seeing. So right now we have a stroke that's black and we have a fill that's gold, right? So I can twirl this up, and it's the opacity means it's on default. If I double click this opacity, it comes up with a thing that allows me to change this opacity. So see how I'm changing it? And it's telling me that it's changed there. So if I want it at 100% or default, I would leave it at 100%, hit return, and then it goes back to the word default. Now, if this is kind of working like a layer. So if I want to have something happen to this fill, but not to the stroke, I can go to effects over here and I can do some different things. So just like before, if we go into stylize, let's just bring this up a little higher. So if I go into effects and I go to stylize, I get glowing edges. So if I want to do the glowing edges, I end up with this effects image, right? And I can alter it accordingly. Let me just cancel that. Let's try a different effect. Let's add a stroke. So you'll notice that down at the bottom, I have a stroke and I have a fill. So this is add new stroke, add new fill. Now, I have one stroke here and it's at 1.5. So if I want to change that stroke, let's say I want to make it 2 or I want to make it 1. Let's just go right to 1. And I hit return. You'll notice that now this stroke is a little smaller than these other strokes. Now if I want to add a new stroke to this, all I have to do is click new stroke. Now I have another stroke added. I don't see it, but I'm going to make it red. And now I'm going to change the point size to 5. So let's zoom in and see what we did. So now if I look at this stroke, I can see that it is, if I go in really, really tight, I can see where the line is in the center. So the stroke, when it comes in, it always adds itself to the center. So let's just, for the heck of it, change the color of this one. So I'm going to click on it and I'm going to make it blue. Or let's make it green. Okay, and we'll say okay, return. Oh, guess what? I didn't have it highlighted. So I need to highlight it. There it is. Notice that it's now black again. So now let's make it green. So there I can see where my object mathematical vector path is. And you can see that the stroke splits it directly in half. And so if I put any strokes under it, they need to be larger than this stroke or I'm not going to see it. So let's go ahead and do that some more. So let's look at this one. Let's change it to 3 points. And now let's add another stroke right here. I'm going to click it. And now it's at 3 points. Same color because it remembered that. So now I'm going to make it orange. And I'm going to make this one 5. And there it is. So I can do that with anything that I want to add an appearance to. So I can add multiple fills, I can add multiple strokes, but mostly it's really nice for strokes. So let's command negative. And there we can see. So let's say I'm going to do some type. So now I'm going to say, you know, here's my type. Notice that my characters are Myriad Pro, that's the default. Let's go to Arial and let's go to bold. Okay, so there's my Arial bold, and I'm just going to say graphic design. All right, there's my type that I've created. Now, my type does not have a stroke on it right now, but I could add a stroke. So first off, it's a type, and the characters are black, right? So if I double click this, I don't really see much happening. If I go over here, I can pick a color. So let's say I pick this color. Okay, that's fine. And then let's go back. And now I'm going to add a stroke to this. So just like as if I would have added a stroke, notice that now I see the black design. I'm going to change it to 0.5, very small, and I'm going to change the color, and I'm going to make it a lighter green. Okay, so now if I want to add another stroke, now also let's take a look at our stroke palette. So let's go to Window and open up Strokes. What if we didn't have a sharp corner? See how these corners are all sharp here? What if I had a rounded corner? So if I click that, click the rounded corner, it should affect my stroke. But let's just see if it does. We hit return, and I didn't see too much of a change. Let's make another stroke, just because. So we're going to go here, we're going to add another stroke, add new stroke. So now I've added 2 new strokes. They're still at 0.5. This one I'm going to change to 0.1, and I'm going to change the color orange. So now I can see it. And then this one, I'm going to go 1, maybe 2. I'll make this one red. And I'm just going to go here to 2. And now you can see what I've done. Like I really am starting to change the look. And see how it shows me this rounded, and it's still, though, I think I need rounded corners. So there's my rounded corners. Notice that my rounded corners are not on the orange one. So I can go back to my rounded corners here. Let's go back to the green one. Go to my rounded corners. So there you can see what I've done with this font. So, and then we can also do dashed lines in our stroke. So notice that we're on the green right now. So it's totally changed our green to dashed lines. Let's uncheck that. Whatever we're on is going to be affected. So let's go to the red, because that's our furthermost. And let's find our stroke palette. There it is. And let's go in here. Whoops, I didn't want that to go away. And let's go ahead and hit dash line. And so now you see it's got like a funky dash line, but it's kind of too, so let's make it smaller. So we'll say 2 points and 2 points. So dash and gap. And hit return. And now I have this weird looking kind of strokey business, right? Now if I pull these strokes underneath the fill, so if I grab this fill and drag it to the top, you should be able to see more green, but it's not really showing me the color of my fill. So let's put that in there, and now you can see what I did. So by grabbing that fill area and putting it out here, we now can see all of this. Now this is still type, so I can change this at any given time, and this crazy type that I just made, which is pretty weird, hi there, will continue to use the appearances. Let's see if I can spell today. Appearances I gave it. Now, zoom all the way out. You know, one thing I was noticing too is that students don't realize that this gray area, so let's just like get my cursor back in there, hit return, that the gray area is a place that you can just put things. So you can just leave them there while you're working on something and then say, oh, maybe I like that, I'm going to do it again, right? So if I go to another type now, notice that it forgets about the appearance that I had from before, right? So those are gone now. So if I go back here though, this is still here. Now if I click this and use my eyedropper and click on these, all I get is the fill. I don't get anything else. So I'd have to go back in here and copy that. But it's a good start to show you some of the things you can do to appearances. So we can do that with fills and strokes, and we can alter them, and we can change their opacity. We can change their size. We can move them around just like as if. So see how this is now on the outside, and it's altered what we can see, right? If I bring it back down, then I see both halves. So let's just see what that looks like real quick. So if right now I see this line and it's split, split, split. But if I take this, so I got to make sure it's hot. And if I take this and drag it up, now I only get one of those halves. See that? Let's zoom in. Okay, Command Z. There's all of it. And then if I drag this up, I only get half. So that's a little information about fills and strokes and things that you can do to add more than one fill and more than one stroke. All right, very good.